Hey everyone, it's Jenny Fennick here, and I'm really honored to spend this time with you today. Today is a very special day in my life, in my journey, and I want to thank everyone who has reached out to me to share your kind words and support on this anniversary of my sister Julie's passing. My sister Julie Ann Amen died February 27th, 1994. That is 31 years ago. And it has been a wild ride. I was texting with some friends earlier. I said, what a long, strange trip it has been. Wow. And I felt called to come on and share some of what I've learned, what death has taught me, and really touch on this theme of turning pain into purpose, because that is absolutely what has happened for me. I wouldn't wish this experience on someone because it was devastatingly hard and painful, and what I wouldn't give to have my sister here right now, physically in her body. But I have learned such a tremendous lesson, and I want to share some of that with you. I have many friends who have recently experienced big losses, and that is something that I know a lot about. And so I'm grateful that I'm able to speak the language of death, be able to hold space for someone who's going through pain, grief, loss, all of it. And so I'm going to summarize a bit what death has taught me, in the hope that this serves you or someone in your life. If you know someone who's going through a loss, please do share this video with them, share this message with them. It can change someone's life. And what I have absolutely learned and been reminded of is that everyone is fighting their own battle. And so even if somebody looks like they've got it all together, they've got it all going on, they're smiling on the surface, everyone's fighting a battle. And so the kinder we can be, the more loving we can be, the more supportive we can be, the more knowing of this fact that there's power in community, the healthier we will be and the more supported we will be. So a huge lesson for me and what death has taught me is that I thought for a long time that my sister left me. Like, she left me, she's gone, she's not here. She's not here anymore. And I had a lot of grief and sadness about that. I had a lot of anger about that. I had a lot of confusion about that. I had questions. I had stuff that was weighing on me. And what I have learned, again, it's been 31 years now, so I'm not new in this grief journey, in this loss journey. But what I have learned is that she didn't leave. I don't believe that people who pass on leave. Certainly they shed this body. We can no longer see their body in this present place, right? On this planet, on this earth. But I have learned that they don't leave. The energy just changes form. They shed the body, but the energy is here. The energy for sure is here. I know this. And I've been constantly reminded of this through the years when I'll meet someone and their name is Julie, or there'll be some numerology situation where 227, I'll get that message, or I'll get a 420 message. 227 is the date of Julie's death. 420 is the date of her birth. And so I'm seeing things like that. I'll see dolphins, which she loved. I'm just constantly surrounded by her energy. And I know for sure that she has had a hand in my life. She continues to have a hand in my life. And I hope that gives some comfort to those of you who might be newer on this path of losing someone that you deeply care about and you so very much miss, is that they are absolutely here. They didn't leave you. Their body was shed, but the energy is here. And it's a lifelong journey to then create a new relationship with that energy. And I'm not suggesting that you don't wish that it was how it used to be. Absolutely. But this idea that they left is not true. It's not true. They're here. It simply changed form. And that took me a while to figure out, but it gives me so much comfort today. And I know that my sister had a hand in getting all of my children Earthside. My daughter's middle name is Julie. I always knew if I'd had a girl, I would give her the middle name of Julie. And so I look around at them and I just know she had a hand. I reached out to my parents today and I shared that it was wild going through what we went through at the time that we did. I was 16, my sister was 12. My parents were divorced. They were living in 2 different states. It was not easy. It was messy. It was hard. And we figured it out. We figured it out. And I believe that Julie is really proud with how we have navigated this life and figured out how to keep going. There were years that things were dicey. There were seasons of extreme challenge where it didn't look great, but that's how life goes. You're not always going to be in seasons that are incredible and joyful and everything looks awesome and everything looks like it's working out. There are times that it doesn't feel like it's working out at all, but she has a hand in it all. And so for those of you who are experiencing loss, I hope that gives you some comfort for sure. Another lesson here was learning that I could rewrite the story was very, very powerful. And this is available to all of us, that you can rewrite your story at any time. Some of us are stuck in a story that no longer serves. It's holding you back. It is kind of repeating the pattern where you don't feel like you're good enough, or you don't feel like you're worthy, or you don't like whatever it is, you're repeating that pattern. And when you realize that you can change that story, you can change that story at any time, that's when you reclaim your power. Okay. And so I encourage you to look right now where you're stuck in a story. And again, using myself as an example, I will tell you, I was stuck in this story that my sister left me. Okay. And in fact, I had a scrapbook I had a high school scrapbook. I don't know if any of you all kept a scrapbook or still keep a scrapbook, but I have my high school scrapbook, and there's some pages in the book around the time that Julie died. And I had on one of the pages, she left me, like she left me. And that was, again, I interpreted that to mean like everybody leaves. And that must mean I'm not good enough. I'm not worthy. I'm not lovable. Like you can fill in the blanks. And I want you to think about where you've done this in your life. So I'm remembering today, 31 years ago, almost 31 years ago. It'll be 31 years ago in maybe like April-ish time, maybe May, that it was a few months after Julie's death. I wrote a poem about her and then delivered this poem at this pageant we had at my high school called Miss New Smyrna Beach High School. I delivered it in front of the whole school and then the whole community who came out to this pageant. It was a pretty big deal at my school. We had like 1,500 kids at my school. So it was a sizable school, much bigger than the high school that my son will be attending next year anyway. And I wrote a poem about Julie and I recited it. And when I look through the words, I'm realizing that what I was doing at that time was making sense of how I navigated this impossible situation. I had a lot of guilt. I had a lot of shame. I had a lot of just pain that I was bearing to everyone who would listen. And I was in a story that somehow I did this wrong. I did this wrong. I'm going to actually share the poem with you now, because this is me owning that for so many years I would have dreams that somehow I was on stage saying this poem but forgetting the words. And so I'm going to do this right now publicly for the first time in almost 31 years. Okay. I'm going to read this poem. I'm going to recite this poem, which I did way back then through memory. Now I'm going to have it up on my screen so I can read it. I just want you to notice the words. I want you to notice what I did then and how I was telling a story. I was telling my truth at that time, But if I was to write the poem now, it would be a different one because I have rewritten the story. I have forgiven myself. I know that I was doing the best that I could. I've learned a lot in these 31 years, which I'm distilling down for you a bit right now. Okay, so I'm going to read the poem. I got it up on my screen here. Let's see. Okay, I got to zoom in. My eyes aren't what they were at 16. You know what I'm saying? Okay, here it is. I woke up one day, not to sunshine, but to night. It seemed to be a symbol of the end of the fight. Why did Miss Sunshine have to go away? I don't understand why she could not stay. My sunshine was so beautiful with all of her rays. She seemed perfect in every little way. She lit up my life in more ways than one. Oh, how I adored that warm, loving sun. My sunshine left me without a trace. Now all I have are the tears that adorn my face. There is no one to dry them because there is no light. It's so unfair that my sunshine was deprived of a long, prosperous life. I hate myself for being afraid. I thought from my sunshine I would not be able to break away. I coated my soul with sunscreen and oils so I could be sure my heart would not be toiled. I was scared of getting too close to the flame. Now I know I am the one to blame. I should have known that the only thing to fear is fear itself. To Miss Sunshine, I was of no help. I complained because she made me sweat. Her strength and composure I will never forget. She refused to let the moon creep through. She dreaded darkness like me and you. She struggled to keep her light shining bright. How extremely brave she was to put up a fight. I stuck by my sunshine till the darkness had to be. Oh, how sad a sight it was to see. I saw beautiful wonder fade away. Now the time was night and not day. I cried and cried till my tears were dry. And then I let out a relieving sigh. I realized that the sun would still shine, but it's a different sun. Definitely not mine. It's not as warm, true, or as sweet, but its responsibilities it will surely meet. I woke up today, and that's good enough for me. I did not look outside to see. If it was dark or sunny, I did not care, because the smile on my face was too much to bear. I know my sunshine is smiling down on me, so I will wear one too for all to see. On February 27th, my sunshine earned her wings. She is the angel that I hear sing. I know she is in a better place, but her warm, bright memory shall never be erased. And that is my poem, Miss Sunshine, about my sister, Julie Ann Amen. And I'm just really proud of myself that I wrote that and that I did that and I got up in front of a crowd and recited that on a stage, bearing my soul and really telling my story at that time. And again, we all have an opportunity to decide what story we are telling, what story we are believing. And this is a reminder to you to rewrite it as needed, to rewrite the story, because we get new information, we have new experiences, we heal, we grow. You are not the same person that you were 31 years ago or 15 years ago or 5 years ago. And that's a compliment. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise. Okay. That is a compliment. We grow, we change. That's a beautiful part of being human. And so something that I 100% just need to tell you right now is that when you have horrible, heartbreaking, not fair, unfair things happen, which could be considered like the worst thing that could happen. Okay. The positive of that is that you realize nothing is stopping you anymore to do the thing. Because when you've had the worst thing happen and you didn't die, like you felt you might die, you really didn't know how you were going to go on, you realize, well, what is stopping me now? Like, what is the worst thing that could happen here? Because I've already had the worst thing. So I'm going to move forward. I'm going to be bold. I'm going to speak up. I'm going to do this thing. I'm going to go after it. That is the benefit of being able to turn pain into purpose, is to look at this horrible, heartbreaking, hard thing that has happened to you and move forward anyway. Now, that doesn't happen right away. It did not happen right away for me. And so if you are in the earlier stages of this, please give yourself space and grace. Be patient, be patient, be patient. It takes time. I wouldn't be where I am today had I not entrusted my story and my heart with incredible therapists and healers. 100%. Like it just wouldn't be possible. It would not be possible. I know that with every fiber of my being. And so I very much appreciate therapists, healers. I have worked with a particular type of therapy called EMDR when I was in the heat of really wanting to work through Julie's death. It had been an albatross on my back, some stories I had told myself. And that was a game changer for me. And I share that with any of my people who are close to me who are going through a traumatic experience. I always let them know, hey, this tool is available in case it might be helpful for you, in case it might be of service. All right. And so when we have these hard things happen, just know if you survive that, you're surviving that. What is stopping you from making a massive positive change in your life in this area or that? You can do this. You're still here for a reason. I know that very much about my own journey. I am still here for a reason. I just am. It's just not even a question. And what am I afraid of? Like, am I afraid to take a stand on the internet? Am I afraid to put my message out there? Am I afraid that I'm going to reach out to someone and invite them into something that I'm doing and they're going to say no, or they're not going to respond? I'm not afraid of that. I'm not afraid of that. I know that those who are meant to work with me, when I take my stand, I do my thing, the right people always show up. They just do. They absolutely just do. So I'm not going to be afraid of dumb shit. I'm just not. And I hope that you can vibe on that. I hope you can take that for yourself and just decide that you're not going to let little minutia, these small little details, or these fears that actually, when you look at it, it's like, what am I really afraid of here? What am I afraid of? And then get some support with that. If that's really tangling you up, get some support. Again, I mentioned my work with therapists. Obviously, I'm a coach. I'm a really strong facilitator of experiences for groups and private clients, you incredible leaders out there. Like, we're human. And so we do get stuck. And sometimes we get stuck in the mud of old stories, just old stories that no longer serve. You are a powerhouse. You deserve the absolute best. And we're going to go out there and do it. We are absolutely going to go out there and do it. So one other piece here, and then I'm going to wrap this up. I learned a lot from my sister about faith. A lot. She was so wise. She was so, I can just see her now. I can see her now in my mind's eye. I can see the way that she moved through this horrible disease. She had brain cancer, and the way that she held herself and worked through this horrible situation. Horrible. It was so beautiful and profound and inspiring. After she died, we found her diary, and one of her pages, she talked about how she found God. And it was mind-blowing to me because I hadn't found God at that point in my life. And I know everyone listening, you have your own unique relationship with your higher power, and I respect all faiths. And for my sister, it was very much a part of who she was. And as I went through my own journey of loss and coming to terms with what I believed and what was faith to me and what was God to me and what was a higher power to me, I draw on how my sister conducted herself and how she found great comfort in her own belief. And that has helped me a lot as I have moved forward and developed my own relationship with a higher power and with God. I am so grateful for my sister's example. And I'm also grateful for my sister's example of tolerance and how she treated people. And she died. She was only 12 years old when she died, and she was just the kindest person. She was the kindest person. She was wise beyond her years. And I am inspired by her every day. And as we wrap this, I want to share a poem that she wrote. She too was a writer, and she wrote something really beautiful when she was sick. She was sick for about a year, and then she died from cancer. It just ravaged her body, and she couldn't go on. I think if she were to have cancer today, it's likely that she could have made it through. There's so many innovations in science and the medical profession and cancer research. And I pray to God that those developments continue, and that science and medicine and healing and taking care of people continues on. And that's not a political matter. It shouldn't be. That should just be being human and wanting all of us to succeed and be happy and healthy and free. And so what Julie wrote is this. She was 12 years old when she wrote this. She wrote, "I miss the trees swaying in the breeze. Why did I get this terrible disease? I miss my family. I miss my best friend. Why does it seem like this won't end? What would my family do? What would my friends say? I wonder these things each and every day. In the meantime, we'll pray for a miracle. It's so hard to cope. God will give us a miracle, for without God, there is no hope." That's by Julie Amen, age 12. So thank you so much for tuning in to this message about what pain has taught me. I know we all have, or what death has taught me, and pain, really. What pain and death have taught me, because the two go hand in hand. The two go hand in hand. There is no death without pain. It just comes with the territory. So when we can turn our pain into purpose, when you can use that as fuel, it's amazing. I have so many clients I'm thinking of right now who are in the trenches of this work, and I just want to celebrate them. I want to thank them for what they do and for entrusting me as a coach on their epic quest. And that's what we're all on, is an epic quest. My work is dedicated to supporting you incredible leaders out there, you transformational leaders who know that you are here to help others. You're here to serve. You are here to serve. You are here to help people not feel so alone, not feel so, it doesn't have to feel so hard. That's what my people do. Like we are gatherers. We bring incredible souls together for the work of transformation, the work of ascension. And I feel extremely honored for that. I am really looking forward to kicking off a program in about 1 week's time called Take a Stand Brand. I am passionate about taking a stand for that which you're passionate about. It's so important. It's more important now than ever. We will not be silenced. We will not be on the sidelines or thinking that this is a dress rehearsal. Like, this is it. And what we're doing in Take a Stand Brand is really going to activate something inside of you so that you can meet this moment head on. Because none of us know how long we have here. And this is how I'm going to wrap today. None of us know. None. So what are you waiting for? What are you waiting for? This is the time. You are the one. Let's go. If you want info on Take a Stand Brand, reach out to me. You can also go to jennyfennig.com/stand. It's time. It's on. Let's do this thing. My work this year is taking on lots of different paths. I guess that's a good way of saying it. I have my hands in a few different areas, and I will be very conscious about how I'm spending my time and the kinds of experiences that I'm inviting people to come to and through. I have 3 kids who need a lot of me. And so that's another gift when you lose someone who you really adore and you are faced with this truth that time is this greatest asset. I am ensuring that the time that I do spend on whatever it is that I'm spending on is really, really, really well spent. So I'm still kind of feeling my way through exactly how this is going to evolve for 2025. But in light of everything that's happening out there, I have a sense that it's about to get real. Thank you all. I love you. I send you all the best. And may any pain that you have experienced or are experiencing now, may it fuel your purpose, and may it help you do to the best of your ability what you came here to do. And to my sister Julie Ann Amen, I love you. I miss you. And I thank you for literally being with me every step of the way. I know it. Take good care, everyone.